Hey, what's up, guys? You can follow the podcast on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by looking up the Cool Kids Table Podcast. And on Twitter, it's just the Cool Kids Pod. The website is thecoolkidstablepodcast.com. My guest today is Robert Ramirez. I know I keep saying this over and over. Like, I know this guy for the longest. I know it. But it's just the truth, it's honest. I've known Robert since elementary school. I don't remember if we had any classes together because, that's going far back. But we've always been cool, for as long as I can remember. We'll talk, a little bit of our childhood. Not much, because we just knew each other. We didn't really, hang out or whatever. But we've always been cool, up towards, in high school or whatever. And even now as adults, so it's cool. We talk his business, those things he's got going on in music, which is really dope, as an outsider. I've mentioned it a few times. I'm not an artist. I have no fucking creative bone in my body. So it's pretty cool. He hooked it up, got a studio for us to record at. So it was nice, dope scenery. I think a bunch of you guys saw it on the social media because you guys were all like, that looks pretty dope. Where's that at or whatever. So it's pretty cool. He talks about, the ups and downs, we all had. He's very open. He gets a little bit into it about, he did a little bit of time, as we say, and, how that opened up his, his mind because he did a lot of reading, soul searching. Smart dude, really smart guy, funny guy, so it's a little bit of everything. Only thing, we started recording at 1 a.m. and he had to start work in a few hours, so we didn't go as long as we had planned. But like I said in a lot of the episodes, that's the beauty, because I get to bring these guys back in the future and we could continue the conversation and continue about what he was touching on. We talk he talks philosophy, he talks a little bit about baseball. We talk about a few different things, but he's enlightening me in the music industry, how that's all going. And it's pretty cool, as an outsider. I know a few of the listeners are musically inclined, so I'm sure they'll enjoy it. But as, a lot of people that don't know the behind the scenes work, will be appreciative of all the stuff that they do. Cause like he says, it's not just all fucking diamonds and jewels. There's a lot of work. And so it's pretty cool. We talked a little bit before we started recording, and it was pretty cool cause everybody says, dude, you guys, these guys, you fucking just click with them on the podcast. I'm I hadn't talked to him in a few years, haven't seen him in fucking a while, and I told him I wanted him on. He said he was down, so we made the most of it. This was fun. Welcome to the Cool Kids Table Podcast. My guest today is Robert Ramirez. Robert, I know you're a busy guy. I know you haven't slept. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. How are you?
I'm good, man, and I appreciate you bringing me on. I really like what you're doing, man. I got to listen to Ozzy's and Fabian's podcast, and it was good to hear some guys that I used to play baseball with, back when we were little. And to hear that they're doing pretty good for themselves, you know what I mean? And, it was interesting and very funny, to say the least.
There's some characters.
Yeah.
Quick shout out. Where are we at right now? Let the listeners know.
Oh, we're right here in downtown LA. We're at the Neon Sound LA. If you want to look them up on Instagram or, check out the studio yourself, it's at the Neon Sound LA. And it's a beautiful spot, man. How you like beautiful.
It? I'm loving it, dude. He gave me a tour. We went out to the fucking, not the balcony, but I guess what is that called? The fire escape?
Fire escape,
We're out there, fire escape, talking quotes. Everybody's liking the quotes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We're talking about writing. And, thank you for setting this up. This is fucking cool. It's the first time in the studio. This is nice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I was trying to tell you earlier, me, I like to, when I do things, I like to do things, as perfect as I have in my capacity to make it, you know what I mean, or with my ability to make it. And I believe this is a really good vibe right here. And to me, it inspires me coming over here. You see the window outside, you see the backdrop of downtown LA, the lights, and how the city moves, it seems very calm right now, right?
It's 1 in the morning. I think it's about to be 1:30. No,
yeah,
it's 1 in the morning, and like we're just getting started.
111. That's what I just saw on my phone right now.
111. So
yeah,
follow the signs. You see the vibes. Just go with them. Yeah,
yeah, man, and that's something a lot of people, I don't know, people that know are close to me. They know, I really like numbers. I'm a real numbers guy, and one of my favorite numbers has always been 24. I like it because it's 24 hours in a day. And my brand, is Nonstop Hustlers, and it represents kind of that 24 hours in a day. You got to grind it out nonstop, and and then I also like the number 5. That's the day I was born. I was born on the 5th of January. And I like to get personal and let little people know about, me personally, and how I was raised, and, how money is a big
influence.
thing. Yeah, influence. But, I really like its history, and I don't think a lot of people know too much about Amani history, a lot of people used to come to Amani, when they had the lion farm.
Yeah, I was about to say James Lion Farm.
And, Albert Einstein, I believe President Hoover was down here. Yeah, and and a lot of other celebrities, and they had
artists.
A studio. Yeah,
the artists used to come out to the whatever.
Charlie Chaplin, even him too. And I think that's a big thing that for people to know, where they come from. Because sometimes it may tell you where you're going. You know what I mean? And that's something that I love. Is the history and the stories behind them. I seen that the guy, the owner, I forgot what his name, but the guy from Gay's Lion Farm, the one that started it, the trainer, that he said that when he was little, he had his parents took him to a circus or something like that, and that he made a wish, and his wish was to have a lion, and that when he was older, he said, "Man, I wonder how many other kids made their wish and their wish came true like mine," I think that's a beautiful story, right? That was cool. And not a lot of people know about that. You know what I mean? But it's cool. And then the whole history with Art LeBeau and him having the dances at Almine Stadium. And it's funny that things go full circle. And that's I end up meeting my baby's mother at a concert of Art LeBeau. Right?
Crazy.
Yeah, and I like to share that story because it's kind of like a love story, kind of. You know what I mean? Like people don't really meet like that, at a concert. Art LeBeau, Art LeBeau is the love connection.
Yeah,
that's what he says, and he's on the radio. You know what I mean? And they ended up giving the key to the city to him. They ended up giving him the key to the city of Almani. I'm sorry, I'm really tired right now. I'm trying to.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah.
And I really like the story of Almani, and its history and its heritage, and I want to do my best to continue that legacy, and get people to come back to Almani, because I don't know if like they shut down the boys club. I don't like that, and they took a lot of things away from the kids. Things are not the way they used to be, And
it's an escape.
And you really I remember listening on your podcast. You were just running, exercising that night, and you couldn't even do that. Really, that's crazy. You know what I mean? To me, that's not cool. You know what I mean? This is a city you grew up in.
Lived there 29 years.
Yeah, and you can't even run, the street, at night to get your little exercise in when you have your free time. I mean,
exactly.
You were saying that was your only free time.
Yeah.
And they're quick to judge, and to assume, and that's not right, And I think that has to do a lot with their training and the way, the perception of Almani as well, you know what I mean? And I want to change that perception as best as I can, so...
Same.
I'm trying to do whatever I could to do that, but I just want to let people know that about me, that, I'm very much about the city of Almani, and its heritage and where... I come from, because I've been there 30 years of my life, you know what I mean? And my little brother, I don't know, Stones, right?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, he was actually born in the restroom of the house right there in Almani.
Nah, shit.
Yeah. He's a real monte. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I remember always telling my dad, I told him, I want a brother, because it's first is my sister, then it's me, then I had two more sisters, and so it's me and three sisters. I was like, man, I want a brother, someone I could play with, and we could play football, basketball, baseball. I used to like all those sports, and it ended up where one day, I'm laying on. We're laying on the. I had slept in the living room that day, and I had slept through the whole thing, I guess. And yeah, they woke me up. Yeah, you got a brother. You want to go to the hospital and see him? What the hell, But it was so funny. It was cool though. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm big on family.
Your brothers are dope.
Yeah.
I was just sharing that story about your brother. Yeah, your brothers are dope.
And I, a lot of people tell me like they love my brothers. I love my brothers. And I want the best for them. They want the best for me. And when I started this whole Nonstop Hustlers brand, they were the ones that got me to like, hey, yeah, you got to do this. Like a lot of people are asking for it, and what's up? Where's it all at? And for a while I had to put a stop to that. We'll get into that though too. And yeah, man, my nerves are going right now a little bit. This is new to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
you're natural. You're natural.
I like people to hear, first off, a little bit about me and where I come from and who I am. But yeah, man, I'm glad that you're doing this, man. I think it's definitely gonna pop, and you're gonna get a lot of good out of this, man, for sure.
I appreciate you saying that, but I appreciate you coming on, like.
Yeah.
Sincerely, you're a busy guy. We talked about your schedule and everything, and I'm like, how the fuck?
Yeah,
that's
man.
one thing I see,
I think, like, the last time, so I went into work yesterday morning. I've been doing these loads. Well, for everybody out there, just to let you know, I'm a commercial Class A truck driver, and I transport anything from Coca-Cola to Niagara Water to Sunny Delight. That's what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Earlier I came off of doing last load I did was for Sears appliances, like microwaves, washers, dryers, refrigerators. And the thing I love about being a truck driver is that I'm not constantly in one place, I mean, of course, when they're offloading me or loading me, but I'm not stuck in, like, I get to drive, I get to see all kinds of different people. I'm not in a warehouse or a office all day. I get to be on the phone whenever I want. I get to listen to whatever music I want. You know what I mean? I get to chill in the back when they're unloading me or loading me, and I get to read a book or something like that. I have a lot of free time on my hands, and that's where a lot of my ideas come too. You know what I mean? And I want to do so much, and I feel like I can't do it all, but I want to, and I'm gonna try my best to, because I want to be the guy to bring Lions back to Omani.
Yeah.
I know it seems like a far off dream, but you have to have far off dreams. And like I told you earlier, like me, I like to do it big. You know what I mean? I like to do things that nobody really even thought of doing or ever think about doing. You know what I mean? And one of my favorite quotes, like I think I mentioned to you earlier, or maybe I didn't, but one of my favorite quotes and one that I live real strong by is, "No army or government can stop an idea whose time has come." And I take that strongly because, an idea is a powerful thing. Like the idea of Obama and change, that was the idea nobody could have stopped that. You know what I mean? And they brought into existence. It happened, and, that's what ideas are, though. Ideas are things that, only God knows how far they're going to go. You know what I mean? But when the time comes for them, they can't be stopped. People could try to stop them, or governments or armies, but idea is invisible. But when you bring it out, and people grasp it, it's a flower it's a seed that grows in people's minds, and attracts people. You know what I mean? And you take it as far as you want, really. You know what I mean? As far as you're willing to go. Like with your idea, bro. Like, this shit has a lot of potential. I'm telling you right now. I could see it. You know what I mean? And I hope that you stick with it and you take it there. You know what I mean? Because I wish the best for you, man.
I appreciate it. I wish the best for you too. You know, we're talking about that, and I mean, I have, you know, think we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a great support group. Like, my homies are like, dude, keep doing it. Like, this is just the beginning. I keep telling everybody, this is just the beginning, man. Like, you're gonna be
you
episode
just barely plant the seed.
15. Yeah, like this is just getting started, man. So I am excited. You know, I try not to get overly excited. You know, just kind of take things day by day. But I do plan ahead. You know, like, all right, I gotta be thinking a month or two ahead, just because. The guests I'm gonna have on, right? Like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like, you and I, we were trying to get on the same page, and then once it happens, it's like click. Like, all right, we're set.
It's cool because we gotta catch up a lot. Like, you know what I mean, and we gotta fill each other out, and you know, I think that was really cool. You know what I mean? Like, I thought we were gonna get smacked down into it, and I was like, you know, nerves were kind of going, but it kind of relaxed me a little bit. But that's why I wanted to bring you here too, because this is where I feel at home. You know what I mean?
You feel at ease, comfortable.
I feel at ease. I've been here before, you know, and it's a really chill spot, man. And you know, I would like, you know, more people to experience.
No, this is like very welcoming, comforting. Like, when I walk, I didn't know what I was gonna walk into, right? I parked down the street.
I like that.
Like,
I love that. Yeah.
You're like, I'm up here, and I'm like looking outside my window. I'm like, all right. You're like, walk this way. I'm like, dope. Like, I like this. I'm familiar with the area where we're at. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I think I seen you roll down kind of by Alameda. Before. Yeah,
I used to grow weed up there.
I was delivering a Coke. There's a Coke right here on I believe it's Central.
Yeah. That's a big one.
I delivered right there a lot too, right there.
Yeah.
And I think I seen you and I was like, oh, that's for sure that's Hector.
Yeah.
BMW. Yeah. But yeah, man. But yeah, like I was saying too. You know, we both have girls. You know, I like the fact that you talk to, you know, everybody about their kids and their family. You know. And, you know, it makes you reevaluate a lot of things like we were talking about earlier, you know. And one thing about my baby, you know, I named her Miracle, you know. And I met her mom at, like I was saying, at Art LeBeau. Well, trip out. So I've always said the first 30 years of my life for me, you know, I don't want to start a family. I don't want to have a kid. You know, I just want to do me. You know, I want to experience my life first. And then I'll have a kid and start a family once I'm 30. So I met her mom, maybe it's going on 7 years. Yeah, it's going on 7 years. I believe we met in September. And so yeah, at September it will be 7 years. And we met at Art LeBeau concert, you know. I had my brothers with me. Matthew was right there. And I was telling him, you're going to be my wingman. I told him like that. And so me and him go walking around, and we meet my girlfriend and her two cousins. Well, my brother ended up hooking up with one of her cousins, and me and her talked the night away. We danced, you know. We ended up kissing, and I got her number, and, you know, I didn't think
nothing
it was,
of it.
But, you know, she's one of the most amazing girls I've ever met, you know, and she's a really great mom, you know. And, you know, I'm blessed to have her in my life, you know. We have our ups and downs, like, you know, anybody, you know. We break up to make up, you know what I mean? And, it was real cool because we end up having my baby, you know what I mean? And I named her Miracle because I want her to know that she is a miracle. But not only is she a miracle, every other kid is a miracle, you know? And that's what I believe, you know what I mean? And I wanted her to have that name so when I raise her, she could know, like, you know, she is beautiful, she is a miracle, just like every other kid. And there's no difference between her or anybody else, you know. And I want her to be kind of like a light to the world, you know what I mean? And that's how I want to raise her, you know what I mean? And I matter of fact, I was so anxious, or how would you say it? Like, I was so happy to bring her into the studio. So, like, when she was maybe, I believe, 7-8 months, I brought her over here to this one.
Dope.
And they have a little piano that I'll show you later. I have a picture of her. I put it on my Instagram, but I backed a lot of stuff up to my archive. But I put her on that little piano, and she got on it, and it made me so proud, man, because, like, I want to see her do, like, some type of instrument, you know what I mean? And if she wants to do it or not, you know, but I'm going to...
Open that door.
Yeah, open that door for her, and if she does it, she does it, you know? But, anyways, so she went, the day she was born was February 10th, right? Well, a month later, they gave Art LeBeau the key to the city. Well, I took her I took her mom, and we went down over there to see the presentation and everything like that. And I ended up stopping him in his tracks. And I'm telling him, hey, Art, check it out, man. I actually met my girlfriend at your concert, and look, now we have a beautiful daughter. And he stopped in his tracks, and he looked over, and he's like, oh, I'm no politician. I got to go see the baby, you know? And he went and see my baby, and he's like, oh, hey, you want to be a radio star one day, you know?
Yeah.
And man, it was one of the highlights of my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was amazing, you know, because it all started off at his concert, you know. Had it not
full
been
circle,
for that
like
concert,
you said.
yeah, had not been for his concert, you know, we would have never, you know, met, and you know, my baby would probably never been, you know, existed. You know what I mean? But he went and he acknowledged us. He talked, shook my hand, you know. And Artebo's a legend, man.
Yeah,
if you're from Southern California, or you know, if you ever heard the radio, he used to come out on 92.3 The Beat, right? On Sundays.
Sunday night.
Yeah, and I think now he only comes out on 93.5. I think 93.5 holds him now. But yeah, man, that guy's a legend, especially of Almani, you know. He said that day, you know, he shared a lot of memories, and he talked about Richie Valens, and you know how he brought Richie Valens to Almani because, you know, a lot of Latinos, you know. But he also mentioned, like, back in the days that, you know, Almani was one of the few cities that people could go and have like interracial relationships, you know, because that back then that was frowned upon, you know. People really didn't do that back then, you know, but it was a city that brought people together, you know, and that's something that I think is big, you know, especially he says it's the birth of rock and roll, you know, and that was the era back then when, you know, Richie Valens came out, and then the Penguins, you know, Brenton Woods, you know, all the legends, you know what I mean? And not a lot of people know about that type of music, really. But if you're from Southern California, most likely you do. Yeah. If you're raised that way, though. Right?
Yeah. If you probably know somebody that listens to it, you know, cruising the Sunday, throwing on Art LeBeau, going to the beach, going to grab a beer or something, they just throw it on and you just vibe.
Yeah, like, Sundays was always the days, you know what I mean? When you turn on, you had your barbecue, you know, or you even listening to Lighter Shade of Brown, sitting on the park on a Sunday afternoon, jamming the cool. And I think that's where my love for music starts, you know. And I've always had that love for music, you know what I mean? I've always wanted to do music. Music was always a thing that I loved, you know, and I've always wanted to do, but I never made the time for it. I was going to say that I never had the time for it, but I never made the time for it. And I wish I would have. Knowing what I know now, like, I would have been further along, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot to learn when it comes to the music business that I didn't even think, you know, from the outside looking in. But now that I'm in, I'm like, oh, shit, what'd I get myself
There's
into?
a lot of work. Yeah. People don't see the behind the scenes work.
Exactly.
They only see the finished product.
They think it's all glamour and gold and diamonds, you know. But at the end of the day, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words again. But there's a lot of work that goes into being successful in the music business. And that's what I learned, you know what I mean? Like, it's not as easy as they make it seem, or it's not as glamorous as they make it seem, you know what I mean? A lot of people, like, they're not getting what they deserve either, you know what I mean? These people with the major record labels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they're making no money.
But it's coming to light. It's coming to light little by little, and, you know, the way things are with social media and how you could do it on your own now, basically.
Going independent.
Yeah, like how you put your podcast on all these platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big, you know. Back then, you couldn't do that shit.
No, you had to pay somebody to represent you.
You had to go to a radio station, make a pitch, like, hey, I want to do this, you know what I mean? You couldn't. Now you went, bought your equipment, and boom, you're on. You know
fucking, literally, Spotify, I was on the first day. The only one that gave me, well, a lot of them give you trouble because they want to know that you're established, that people are actually listening to it, that you're actually going to continue doing it. And so for me, Apple Podcasts was the hardest one just because I don't own any Apple products. Nobody that I have a few close friends, but I can't just be like, hey, let me borrow your account. Let me set it up.
Yeah.
And, you know.
And they're pretty pricey too, though, right? Or
no, because as long as you have like listeners, they'll let you in because it's like they're paying for it by using their service. You get me?
Oh, okay.
So
I had the listeners. I just didn't have an Apple ID.
Yeah.
And they want you to get an iPhone so bad. Like, they're like, oh, that's the only way.
Yeah,
so,
that's their catch, huh?
Yeah, you got to
buy
jump
the product.
through, what's that saying? Jump through hoops and do magic. Cause finally, last week, it finally came on. So that was big for us. Like, right away. You know, like anything. Like you said, the behind-the-scenes work. People don't know I got rejected 4 times.
I think they're more global.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Because, I don't know, there was some guy that started his own, it was like a podcast at first. I don't know if you ever heard of Selection, Joe K.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, well, he played football over there at Armani Jets, and that's how I know of him. And then he went to school with Ernie Rodriguez when he was going to Los Altos. And he got on Apple Music. And he has his own show through them, and it's called Selection Radio. Yeah.
What is it?
A Selection Radio. Okay. Soul, like SOUL, but he made it with like selection.
Yeah.
Selection
Radio.
And he has a pretty big following, and he's doing good. And yeah, I mean, I kept I kept in tune with what he's doing. You know what I mean? Because I like to keep in tune with what other people are doing. You know, like, and how they're doing it, and how they got there. And, you know, it's all about putting in the work, man, and you know, making the content available to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like how you said you needed to get Apple, you know what I mean? Because that's a big audience, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's big, man. It's Apple, man, they're growing nonstop, man, by the day, you know? Kind of like Amazon. Amazon blew up, you know?
Over $1 trillion last year.
Yeah. Right?
They paid 0 in taxes, but over $1 trillion.
That's crazy. And, you know, I was looking into that too, like, how you make that much money and pay 0 in taxes, and they know about it, and they're not even coming after you?
Oh, it's a system for the rich. We could talk about that too, but it's a system for the rich. They know how to exploit it. They got all the right lawyers, all the right accountants, and they could tax write off on this.
And if they do something right, well, my lawyer was the one that had the job to do it right. You know what I mean? And I mean, if they did it wrong, it's not their fault. It's the lawyer's fault, right?
Yeah.
So they're all free, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what happened with Trump and that lawyer that he had. I guess.
For
was it the guy who went to prison or whatever? What's his name?
So many have gone, but the guy about the
guy that testified in front of Congress. Yeah, that guy.
Michael Cohen.
Yeah, Michael Cohen. There you go. Yeah, that guy looks like a rat though. Huh?
Yeah, it's funny how like you just like look at him, like, dude. How the fuck are you a lawyer?
Yeah.
Like, you probably cheated your way through law school,
right? That's crazy. But yeah, man, and one thing I like is that you bring up baseball a lot.
Oh yeah,
and you know,
that's a big part of my life. I bring up beer. I bring up the stuff with my daughter, family, friends. You know, the stuff I enjoy. So baseball keeps coming up because I keep having baseball players on. You feel me?
And it makes it fun, right? Like, to talk about shit that you can relate to. You know, I'm pretty sure that everybody listening, they're like, damn, I can relate to that too.
Yeah.
And baseball is like, how they say it? They say it's like
the thinking man's game.
Yeah, exactly, and I love that, you know, because I feel like I am a thinking man, you know what I mean? I like the game of chess too, because chess deals with a lot of thinking and seeing a couple steps ahead of your opponent, you know, and you know, I don't know anybody knows, or for those who that don't know, is I did a little time, you know, I made my mistake and I paid my time for it. I did a little fair time, and you know, I learned a lot though. You know what I mean? I made use of that time. You know, I just didn't throw it all away. You know what I mean? And a lot of the stuff that I have done now was things that I had planned to do when I was busted. You know what I mean? And
you manifested while you were in there.
And you know, I read a lot of books about manifestation. You know, and I got in touch big time with you know, God and who, you know, I believe he is, you know, based off of the things that I've read, you know, and, you know, I prayed a lot. I wouldn't say that I'm a religious person, but I would say that I'm a spiritual person, you know, and that I would say that, that God's, you know, somebody that I know is there, you know what I mean, and always present, you know, he's right here right now, but, you know, he's there whenever you need him, and, you know, whenever you need to talk, you know, that's the person, or that's the, I would say, higher power that I will go to, you know. But yeah, man, I'm jumping from subject to subject. It feels
that's the best. That's the best. Like you said in Fame, it's like we start here, we go there, we bring it back. It's just go where it goes.
I'm just trying to get a feel for how to do this, you know.
You're doing great, dude.
Like I'm gonna set the picture for you guys. Like I'm gonna try to paint it. Like we're right here on the 6th floor on, I believe it's 6th Street too,
6th Street and
Yeah, Mill. Yeah, something like that.
Something.
Yeah. And we're in the part of the studio where there's 2 monitors. There's some equipment. There's a desk. And we're working right here on the desk, face to face. And we got a couch. We have a big window, and
I have the view.
Yeah, you have the view.
It looks nice.
And then on the left of us, so the right of us is the window and the big view of LA, right? And then on the left of us is the booth where the mic is and where artists go in there and they record their vocals. And I love this spot. It's roomy, right? It doesn't feel like too bunched up or claustrophobic. Yeah.
There's a lounge out front. That's where you.
Yeah.
There's a lounge. There's a fridge.
Yeah. And you took a lot of pictures, so I hope you share them with your audience. Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is legit. Like, this is real.
You probably didn't expect that, right?
No, well, you said like we're gonna have a studio. Whatever. I was like, yeah, all right, man. And I mean, I'm sorry. How to work. This is the great thing about a mobile podcast. It was like 11:30. I think you were calling me. I was like, "Fuck! Yeah. I hope he doesn't think I'm canceling or I'm flaking."
Nah,
I got caught up at work.
I would have made use of the time if you.
And so I rushed over here, stopped by, grabbed a 3-pack Modelo Time Food.
Yeah,
and, and I was just like, "All right, just be ready." I don't know what I was honestly not scared or anxious. Just kind of, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Just go with the flow. I tell myself, just do what you do. Yeah. Do what you do.
Yeah, and we hadn't seen each other in a long time, but we picked up like if we hadn't seen each other like every day for a while, you know what I mean? But it was cool because we got to catch up and talk about the recent podcast that you have done,
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Hey man, I got to support, you know what I mean? And I like to support people, especially that are from the area that I'm from, you know what I mean?
And we grew up together. Yeah, we met at Parkview as well.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then you went to Crans, right?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah, I went to Crans and yeah, like baseball, man. Baseball was the love of my life back then. You know what I mean? And I let it slip away. I was telling you earlier. I had went to freshman tryouts, and that's when Parcell was right there. Friend calling me. That's when Purcell was right there, and he started calling me Night Stalker. I was like, man, why you want to bless me with that name though? Like, nah, let's not do that. You know what I mean? He's like, no, well, your last name is Ramirez. You remind me of Richard Ramirez. You're Robert Ramirez. I was like, man, you can't do that to me. That's my friend right now. He's trying to call me. Hold on. I don't want to do that. Can I? Or
go ahead. I'll talk. Yeah. So we met. What was it?
Hey, I'm right here.
Oh, this is beautiful. Listen. It's a real podcast. This is real, guys. This happens.
All right. Well,
this is a nice ass studio, though. It's fucking cool. 6th floor. Right, we went out on the fire escape and just fucking chilled there for a minute. Took in the scenery and just said, like you said, this is manifesting itself.
Yeah.
Like you said, I had an idea and it just went. You had your idea and it went. Yeah. And I told you there's ups and downs. Luckily more ups than downs, but there's been a few downs. The whole Apple thing. A quick thing I wanted to share with you. Not a lot of people know this. My daughter's name. How you're talking about Miracle. My daughter's name is Abigail. Oh, okay. Everybody says Abigail.
Abigail. You know what? A funny thing, I don't mean to cut you out, but that's my grandmother's name, and she passed away a long time ago, but she was one of my favorite. Damn, that's crazy. And just brought up a lot of memories right now. That's crazy.
Abigail means my father's delight. Like you were saying. So that to me, once I knew it was going to be a little girl, I was like, I already knew the name. I was like, this is my delight. This is my everything, So, like you shared your story, I was like, damn. When you were saying that, I was like, damn, that's how I felt. As soon as I knew I had a little girl on the way, I was like, my happiness, my joy, my everything, my delight. So I was like, I told people, like, people would ask me, like, what are you gonna name her? I said Abigail, and they're like, well, that's weird. And I'm like, because they would say Abigail, that sounds weird. Like my last name is Aguilar, right? So they'd be like, Abigail Aguilar, like that sounds weird. And I'm like, well, that's not her name. It's Abigail Aguilar. Yeah. Like you're saying it wrong, So that's why it sounds. That's why it sounds weird.
Yeah, like make that tongue grow a little bit.
But anyway,
no, but that's dope. I mean, like, damn, your daughter has the same name as my grandmother, and I'm a big believer in like coincidences happen for a reason. You know what I mean? And I think that's shows you that you're at where you're supposed to be at in life. You know what I mean? You're doing what you're supposed to be doing in life. You know what I mean?
If you want me to share another one, just
share it all, man.
With listeners, right? I'm getting a lot of feedback. It's beautiful. I appreciate it. Somebody mentioned, like, what signs are you seeing right now? Like, with everything, you know, you're talking about growth as a person, growth or whatever. Like, what do you see right now? And a few different people have told me this, but one person in particular is like, look at the signs. Whatever, the signs are there.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to them. And I was like, just thinking about it, right? And I was like, I know what you're talking about. And I was like, trip out. Like, I always see 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, always, no matter what it is, name on number on the building. I looked down at the time. Like you said, coincidences, right? And she was just like, dude, that's not a coincidence. Like, look into that. Like, just think whatever at that moment, whatever's happening, keep that in mind. Like, think, what are you thinking at that time? And I'm like, trying to think, right? But it's like, it's all happening so fast that I'm like, I can't think that far back. And so then I go to 7-Eleven last week, right? Like, I don't remember what day. Maybe Wednesday night, right? I'm like stocking up a couple tall cans for 4th of July. And I never get carded anymore. Even though I look young, I don't look that young anymore. And it was a cashier I'm not familiar with, right? So she goes, oh, is that it for today, whatever? And I was like, yeah. And then, can I see some ID? And I was like, fuck, like, whatever. Here you go. You know, I have it on me, right? And she was like, oh, crap. You're on the 7-2. She goes, you're 6 months after me. I'm in March. And she goes, I bet you get real lucky. Like, you play those sevens, like I bet you win a lot of money when you gamble. And I was thinking, like, in my person, pokerholic shit. My favorite hand was Queen 7. 7 was always like my number. Like, people would give me that number. I'm like, no. Like, I'm baseball. Like, I'm number 10. And then, so I've been tripping out lately, right? Like, honestly, thinking I drive a lot. So I was like, dude, this is crazy because I've always been number 10 by choice. But people always give me number 7. And so I was just kind of thinking, like, this is a little weird, you know, like the coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence, but I think this is, like you said, this is happening for a reason. So a trip out 2 nights ago, Tuesday night, I was going to I had food at home, but I was just like, you know what? We were talking about internet at work, how, like, if we ever go on a diet, that would be our cheat meal. We're not even on a diet. That's my cheat meal. And I was like, you know what? I had a long-ass day. Like, I'm pretty burned out. I don't want to get home and cook. I'm gonna stop by internet, right? So it's just a dumb story. I know this is people are going to be disappointed
I like it.
by the end of this story. But I get to internet, right? And there's a cashier in front of me, the guy in front of me, and then she's like, oh, whatever. Like, here's your number. And I could hear it, right in front of me. She goes, you'll be number 46. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, hi. She goes, I apologize. I don't want to be rude, but I'm closing out my drawer. I got it off in 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, no worries. She goes, so-and-so will be right with you. So whatever. I ordered my food, whatever. And she's like, here you go. You're number 7. And honestly, I was just stuck. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is for reals? And I mean, people just say, that's a dumbass coincidence. And I'm like, but what the fuck is going on? So I messaged that person. I'm like, yo, dude, like, check this out. This is happening. Like, not, it's always been happening. You're just paying attention to it now. So you know what you're saying. So now I'm like on my toes because for the listeners, you know, they like to share their stories with me, and I actually hear their stories. So like,
you got to share yours.
So too, that's why, you know, like, when they hear this, they'll be like, a few people have told me, like, you know, I'm always talking about we're so stuck, like, on life that we don't see what's happening in front of us.
You miss the signs.
And so people have told me, like, dude, even though I've never seen you in person, even though I've never talked to you in person, I get your aura through the air. I get your fucking energy,
your spirit through the sound.
Like, you were talking about that before we started recording. And so it was just, you know, when you were talking, I was like, dude, I don't even want to say this story because they're gonna trip out. The other people, like, all the rest of them are gonna be like, this is a dumbass story. Let me skip this. But those people, select few that have been, like, on that vibe, they're gonna be like, dude, this. Cause I haven't even messaged them. Only one of them, the one that's really, really on it. But I'm just like you said, the signs are there. I've been paying attention to them. Like, when you said the 111, that sounds like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, dude? That's not a coincidence that we both looked at our phone. Like, what time are we recording? We didn't plan it. It just happened.
It just happens.
Go back to talking.
But that's the beauty. Here, that's the beauty of life, man. When you start to see the signs, you know, because God puts them there, you know, and He's there. You know what I mean? And if you're not there to sit and appreciate it, you know what I mean, because it, like you say, it gets you thinking, right? Like, what the heck? Like, you know how she even said, like, what are you thinking at that time?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Are you paying attention to what you're thinking? Because
I wasn't,
there's a lot of
no, but now I am.
But there's a lot of people that they get their best ideas like that when they notice things that they feel are a sign, you know, and sometimes they run with them and things come about, you know, things come to fruition, you know, because they paid attention to the sign that they got, you know what I mean? And that's something I learned when I was busted, and I read like a couple books. Like,
what did you read? What was it? I mean,
I read
not a specific subject, but what kind of did you get
like
into?
Philosophy, self-help books. I read a lot about the Toltecs. I don't know if you know about the Toltecs from Tio. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Teotihuacan?
Yes. And their area was it says it was known as where man becomes God, you know, and they were very he says they're like his name is Don Miguel Ruiz, but he's a doctor, and he was like from part of the Eagle Night lineage, and their wisdom was passed down from generation to generation, and they kept it secret. I don't know if you ever heard of the 4 Agreements.
I want to say I'm familiar with them, but if you were to ask me what they were, I don't know.
But the book, that was his best-selling book, and he came out on Oprah and all that. And that was actually the first book that I read that actually turned me on to reading. I was given that book, and I actually traded books with somebody. I was reading, I was probably like 19. I was reading, what is it called? It was mindful learn. It was written by a Harvard professor, and it was about mindful learning. It was based on, they did like some studies saying that, you know, the kids that they sat down and they just talked education with, like try to teach them, they didn't do as well as the people that they did hands-on education with. So that was the whole thing of mindful learning, was to learn hands-on, you know. Kids or people don't pick up good when it's just like verbal, me talking to you, yeah. And I had got into that book, and then the person that gave me the 4 Agreements, she's like, oh, well, how about you read this book? How about we trade books? So she gave me that one, and that one turned me on to 4 Agreements, and then I read from there The Voice of Knowledge and The Mastery of Love, and those were the 3 books that guy had written, Don Miguel Ruiz. And it's very interesting on how they believe and what they believe, especially about the Adam and Eve story. It gives you a different perspective on the Adam and Eve story. Like it says, look at it as symbolism, not as the actual, you know,
the man and
woman,
the
woman is, and the perspective he gave on it and what it meant and how it's perceived through their eyes is very interesting. And I don't like to talk or try to explain it, because the way he explains it is perfect for me, and I can explain it like him, you know. But that's what got me reading books. So I read those ones. When I was busted, I read a lot about the Bible, and there's a lot of good in it. I took a lot of that, but there's also things I felt like were kind of contradicting that I really threw away and didn't use. But my favorite in the Bible is the Ecclesiastes. It's from the Old Testament, and that led me to a book called the Shack. They actually made a movie about that one, and then also Conversations with God. And those books were something that are very highly criticized by religious people, because it's not on the normal perception of what God is and how he operates, I guess, through religious eyes. And like, I guess you could say it's kind of controversial, but it made a lot of sense to me, you know, and I took some of it and ran with it, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, and then also I've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
I read that.
Yeah, that's a very good book. That I got that book in my truck. Right now I'm reading, I started on emotional intelligence. Then I actually got a book on me that I was gonna give to you, actually, as a gift.
Oh fuck!
Yeah. As a man thinketh.
Yeah.
And
there's a pen right there. Now, before we
out from the heart. By James Allen. He's a best-selling author. I
appreciate that. He does have a book right there in front of me.
Yeah, so...
But before we leave, you're going to not just autograph it. I remember you had a good-ass sign, Robert Ramirez.
Oh, yeah.
I remember like we were...
Hey, you know what? I actually, on one of my licenses, I'm going to show it to you right now. It's funny. You're going to see my signatures on there.
I remember now, dude. We were like in fucking 5th grade. And this guy had like a professional... Like,
okay, so this is the one that already expired, right? Look at what that one says. The signature.
Oh, what the? That's not your signature.
Okay, but look at.
Oh, 24.
That one has a 24 on it. Yeah. And then this is the newer one that I came up with, but yeah.
It doesn't. There we go. It doesn't do it. Yeah, because you got to write like in fucking hair and shit with a little stupid pen. He has the number 24 in his fucking in his signature.
Everybody trips out on that. Yeah, but yeah, man.
No, well, before we leave, you're going to do a little, like, I don't know, what do you say? Like, a little message on the book and just, you feel me?
Yeah,
I have a little...
Like a yearbook kind
of. Yeah,
like,
kind of thing. Yeah. Just, because, dude, I'm big on giving books. Like,
yeah. You know who actually turned me on to a book, the 10X Rule, was Mo from Craft
Beer Kings?
Yeah, he actually... I told him, man, what book should I get? And he's like, get the 10X Rule, Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, yeah. I checked it out. I got it. You know, I got into it a little bit. There's a lot of books that suck me in, and there's like some that I read here and there. You know,
chapter by chapter. Yeah. You struggle with.
Not struggle with, but
you take your time. And you're like, I know.
Yeah, it's like you have to have a good feel for the book.
Yeah, and there's some you just get through like fucking 2 days, like, 1 day, overnight.
I was reading some books when I was busted like one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've done that.
And then, I would always like to read books about philosophies or like kind of like psychology, I guess you would say, or
that's
just like self-help, like what people believe in, and
or why
how they live,
yeah.
Or why they live like that, things like that. I've read one Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know if you ever heard that one. That's a very popular book. That one was about a doctor who was in a concentration camp.
Oh fuck!
But he evaluated the people that were there, and the ones that were dying were the ones that didn't believe that they had any future,
any hope.
Yeah, the ones that lost hope. And he always kept his hope, and he ended up surviving and writing that book. You know what I mean? And that was what the book was about. Is Man's Search for Meaning. Like he was trying to search for something that was gonna get him through what he was going through. And that was a hard time, man, being in concentration camp.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
I don't think there's many things worse than that. And I don't want to think worse than that.
I mean, shit, I can't even imagine what he went through or what
he saw.
Yeah.
They were literally human experiments.
I bet you a lot of a normal guy will break your spirit. You know what I mean? And it'll make you want to die, probably. You know what I mean? And that's probably why a lot of people did. Because of the shit they went through, man. That's traumatizing, you know what I mean? And especially even to survive and live through it, I bet you they were having like post-traumatic stress,
Yeah, and at the time that wasn't diagnosed. Like people,
they
didn't believe in that.
About that shit. Yeah. And now it's like, even now, like depression is a big thing, and even me myself, like I'll get into that too right now. Is when so I started Nonstop Hustlers, right? Nonstop Hustlers is my brand. It's what I'm trying to, my idea that I'm trying to bring out into the world, to inspire people though too, to hustle nonstop for your families, whatever it is that you do, as long as you get up every day and you try to better yourself and strive for something for your family, you know what I mean, and provide for them, if you're providing for your family, that's all your family needs. That's all you need is to make you feel good about yourself. I mean, that's how I am. You know what I mean? Fulfillment. Yeah, and bring happiness to people. And I think that's Nonstop Hustlers. What I want it to be about is just positivity. And just to inspire people to keep pushing forward. Because there's a lot of people with depression that it affects you, and life is not easy, or especially when you try to do something like what we're trying to do, it's hard, I mean, there's a lot of bumps in the road, and I'm pretty sure you've had your doubts, and I've had my doubts too, and I've had bumps in the road where, I went to go trademark my name, and it ended up like getting opposed, and like me, I never been in that situation. I don't know what to do, you know what I mean? So what would you do, So I start calling lawyers, and they tell me, no, you're not gonna get it. Like, just give it up, you know what I mean? But I go back to that quote, no army or government can stop an idea whose time has come. No, I gotta keep pushing, And I was getting down on myself, like, fuck, like, I already have invested this, I already have this, and I had got my domain, I don't know if you know, but websites are hard to get now because everybody buys
and
you have to buy them off
from a broker.
People.
Yeah, it's like it's intellectual property.
But I had got everything. I had got the social medias, the Twitter account, the Instagram account, and I already had put a lot of work. I went to I forgot what it's called, but I went to go, like, where you get your birth certificate. What
not
is it called?
Clerks.
I know what you're talking about. It's over there in Santa Fe Springs.
Yeah, it's like.
But I went and got my fictitious name, and I had to get ads in I had to get it published in ads in the newspaper to make it legit, shit like that. And I had went open up a business bank account. I had got my seller's permit. I was doing it. You know what I mean?
Taking care of business.
Yeah, and then trying to set a foundation. But when it came to that trademark, I was like, oh, shit. Like, damn. Because the people that I went up against, they had money, you know what I mean? And, like, when you get involved in a legal battle, money takes you far, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have what they had. That's for damn sure, you know what I mean? But through the grace of God, and through my willingness to not quit or give up, I seen it through, and I got my trademark, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was a big accomplishment, and a lot of stress, was relieved from that, you know what I mean? Because I've already invested so much time, so much money, and like I was saying, like I'm telling you, everybody was telling me it was impossible, but I made it possible, and, thank you, God, for that. Because I don't think without him it wouldn't have been possible, you know what I mean? Because that shit, it really took a toll on me. Like I put everything on hold, I stopped doing things. Like when I first started, I started with the music, you know what I mean? And I first time I was in the studio, this studio setup, the guy that you met, KO, shout out KO. He's the owner of the studio, and before it was him and some other guy, Mike, and they had this spot in North Hollywood at 17 Hertz. Now, 17 Hertz is a legendary studio. If you don't know 17 Hertz, like if you're in the music video, you know 17 Hertz, you haven't been in the game. You know what I mean? But Michael Jackson had recorded there. I believe Led Zeppelin, Marilyn, not Marilyn, Kiss had been there. They even do that Love and Hip Hop show right there. VH1. Ray J's been there. Chris Brown's been there. A lot of people like the legacy and the history behind that. That studio, and they had all this equipment in a very small spot. Like this, it was very small. Like it was probably like from that couch, like just all that side. You know what I mean? Like, and then just straight down, all the way straight down to the back wall. But it's just like one narrow, space. And
you can breathe here.
Yeah, you could breathe. You could walk around here. You could, But over there it was cool because their lounge was like they had a pool table in it. They had a bar. Like they didn't have drinks at the bar, but they had the cups. Like it had a bar setup. And then They right across from that, they had Studio A, which was big $1 million studio, where everybody had recorded, all the legendary artists had recorded. And I actually, you seen the game video, right?
Yeah,
that we shot. Well, that was shot right there in Studio A in 17 Hertz.
Shit.
Yeah, and everybody was liking us right there. Everybody was feeling our vibe and what we were trying to do, and it was cool, man. And my first track was with I had stepped into the studio, and it's a long story, man. But my
we
girl,
got time.
yeah,
we don't actually, but I mean,
yeah,
we can get into that.
I have so much stuff like that I could talk about, man. But and my girl, right? She was on Instagram, and we were laying next to each other one day, and she had her friend Brian Gallardo. Shout out Brian. And he's the one that like helped me and put me in the direction like how to operate doing the music, you know. And she had already was a fan of Kasky from Cash Money, and he was, I guess, at his house. He ended up telling me he was at his house, and he was recording them, and you know they were just vibing out. And this is in Orlando, Florida, by the way. And I was like, oh, he knows him. You know him? Like I told my girlfriend, you know this guy, and he's kicking with Kasky. Hit him up. I'll tell him I want to get in the studio. I've been wanting to do music, you know. She hits him up. Me and him link up. I go on Craigslist looking for studios. I don't fucking know how to do it for a studio. You know
that's where I look too, don't you?
Yeah. I was like,
that's where I was looking too.
How the fuck I get into this? And I looked for a studio, and I seen this studio, and it was called Cook Up Records. And it ended up.
Door just open.
Yeah.
I don't believe in ghosts, but that's a ghost.
I think the homies just showed up. They said they were gonna come right now.
Oh, yeah, they're right there. Oh, shit.
Yeah, don't get scared.
No, I've had a few run-ins with ghosts. It's feeding me.
But yeah, so it was Cook Up Records before, right? And end up where I invited them down. I had got studio time. I invited them down, and we're right there, and he introduces me to this guy Moto, which his name was Dylan, and real cool guy, down to earth, like not too sociable, you know, but more to himself, but like kind of like sheltered in a way. But this guy, he amazed me with the lyrics that he had wrote. Like I was playing different beats. I was playing beats from Raw Heats. He's from I believe from London. I had found his beats on the internet, and I really liked them, so I purchased, I think it was 3 or 4 of them. I bought the exclusive rights for them, and what that means is I have full ownership of those
instrumentals.
Yeah, those instrumentals. And I like the instrumental you have in the beginning too.
Yeah, I got it from YouTube.
Yeah. That's dope. So it's funny because the engineer that Mike had put me with, who was owner of the studio at the time, was the guy. His name was Dylan too. So I had an engineer. His name was Dylan, and I had an artist. His name was Dylan, but he went by Moto. But I said, oh, the Dylans together are gonna make millions together. You know what I mean?
Nice, yeah. Survive.
Just pumping them up, you know what I mean, and trying to inspire them. And so I told him throw on one of the beats, and it was the game beat for the song that we had.
Yeah.
And man, he wrote these lyrics down. He got in the booth and he laid it down first time, you know. And it sounded good. And I even told him too, like, hey man, everything you said, if I was an artist, I would like to say that. You know what I mean? Like that's just dope. I was like, you could write another one, and he's like, yeah, I'll write another one. And he wrote another one, and he even threw nonstop posters in there, you know. And I never really had been in the studio. But I know what I like, you know, in music, and what I like it to sound like, and what I go for, you know, and what other people go for too, like more commercial, you know. But his really resonated with me, and his message resonated with me. But I felt it could resonate with a lot of people too. So I really liked it, and I told that guy Brian, who introduced me to him, I told him, hey, what do you think about me getting Kasky on this? Because it sounded like a sound that Kasky would go for, you know? And he's like, nah, I don't think he'll go for it, man. I don't think he'll go for it. I was like, all right, well, fuck it, you know? Like, whatever then. Well, it ended up coming that we left the studio that night, and I told him, well, I'm gonna see if the opportunity comes up where I could ask him and shoot him the song, and if he likes it, he wants to get on it, we could do it. He's like, nah, I don't think he'll do it, but we left it at that. So I said, all right, fuck it, But it ended up coming up. It was, I remember, is 2017 on Valentine's Day. Kasky's on Instagram. He says, hey, I'm doing features today, low price, I said, all right. Well, I hit him up. Well, what's up, And he's like, it was his manager. His manager responded, and she's like, yeah, send us the song. So I sent them the song, and they really liked it. They were digging it, and they're like, yeah, hey, your artist telling me he did a good job, that's a dope song. Like, send the money through Walmart. And I've never had send money through Walmart. I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean Walmart? Send the money through Walmart? Yeah.
Through the toys department?
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell? And but he's like, yeah, go through Walmart and send it cash and put it under Brandon Kasky. So I was kind of iffy about, like, I don't know what the fuck, like, trying to play me or what,
Fucking send the money.
Yeah, so I ended up going ahead and sending the money, and I said, hey, tell Kasky to give me a call. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, boom, he gave me a call, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is a guy that I really like his music, you know what I mean? And he's now on the phone with me, you know what I mean? Shit just got real, you know what I mean? And he's like, hey, where you from? I say, I'm from out here in LA, San Gabriel Valley, and he's like, what's your name? I said, Robert. He's like, oh yeah, that's my middle name. And I was like, hey man, I'm a big fan, I really like the music you do, and from your Black Sheep 2 mixtape, fucking big fan of it. I love the fucking thing from the first track to the last track, And so he went ahead and he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna get this back to you first thing in the morning.
Fast.
Yeah, and I was like, he's like, I was wondering why you guys were able to send the money like so late, because over here it's already 12 o'clock. I was like, nah, over here it's like 9 o'clock really, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, all right. He's like, yeah, you guys are West Coast. And then he's like, yeah, but I'll have it to you first thing in the morning. I said, all right, cool. I shit you not, man. I wake up at I believe it was 3:30 in the morning, and I look at my like something just told me to wake up, you know what I mean? And I look at my email, and boom, it's there,
Damn.
And I listened to that shit, and I was like, damn, And one thing that I really like about it is that he got personal with it, and he says a part in there where he's like, my daddy always told me that we would go places, And that's why I knew, like, he took the song personal, because his dad had passed away a long time ago, you know what I mean? And for him to throw that in there, that means a lot to me, because, he tied his father to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he mentioned, that, and, yeah, man, and after I had got off the phone with him, then, I hit up King Lil G, and he reached back and he said, yeah, let's do it. I'll do a feature with you, And then we end up linking up, and then I ended up linking with him the next weekend on another track that we had done the weekend after we already had got the Kasky track. Is that you? Yeah, we just got two guests right here. The owner of the studio.
Say what's up, guys.
My partner Jesse right here. And this was like blowing me up right now.
We just got back from the bar.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Where do you guys go? Sam's?
Holiday down the street. Royal Heights.
Holiday bar.
The first time we've been there, so the closest bar.
Craggin?
What happened with Lonely?
It was cool. He's downstairs waiting.
Why?
Call him up.
Yeah, but man, yeah, it just started happening so quick, I couldn't, like, I was tripping out on how fast everything just started going, because then I ended up linking up with King Lil G, and we went to actually his studio. He had just done a performance, I guess, in Arizona, and yeah, he told me, yeah, come down to the studio, and I went down there. He charged me a feature price too as well, but I was able to show him that Kasky track, and he liked it. And after that, he told me, hey, yeah, throw on the beat that you want me to get on. And we threw the beat on, and he just started writing, you know, right there chilling, just drink some Coronas and just vibing out, you know. Yeah. And it's cool, like, it's a dope vibe, you know, and it's cool. But, yeah, he went in the booth, he laid down his lyrics. And it was cool to be on the other side of, you know, getting a feature from someone that actually doing it in front of you, you know, and seeing how they work and how they operate and how they interact, you know. Because with Kasky, he was over there recording in Orlando. You know, that's where he's from. Yeah, so it was crazy. And then just by getting and working with those two artists opened up a whole shitload of doors. Like, you know, after that, people started knowing that, you know, we were serious about what we were doing. Yeah.
You're not fucking
around. And what one of the producers had told me is like, yeah, you know, you can't, you know, your music is good, and the way you the reason why you know your music is good is because these guys are not turning you down. And there's a lot of people that they do turn down for thousands of dollars for a feature, and they don't do it because music is whack, and they don't want to be on a whack track. You know what I mean? They don't want to present themselves with people that are not good. You know what I mean? They want to only do what's good or what's the best. You know, and it's their careers on the line. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Oh yeah, their careers at the end of the day is on the line, you know, and who they associate with as well. You know what I mean? And I guess the brand too attracted, just by the name alone, the brand attracted a lot of attention too, because like nowadays everybody wants to be a hustler, right? I mean, everybody wants to make money and
get rich or die trying.
Yeah, be labeled, you know, a hustler and someone that's always out, you know, to get more, you know, and better themselves as well. But yeah, man, the journey is crazy, man. It's a lot more than what I'm saying, you know. Like, I'm trying to explain it the best I could, but like I said, I am kind of tired. You know, I am kind of drinking a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's beautiful, man, to see how an idea can start an interaction with people that you've never known before, or even people that you've looked up to before, you know. Because definitely Kasky and King Lil G were artists that I listened to their music and I was a fan prior to working with them, you know, and getting verses from them.
That's big.
Yeah, it is, and it meant a lot to me. But you know what, like something you said, like you can't get too excited, you know. But that's a mistake that I made that I learned later on, is that I got a lot. Like, I was excited, like, doing what I was doing, because I had never done anything like that before, you know, and connected with people that were further along than I was, that was doing things that I wanted to do, you know what I mean? And it was, the interactions I got with them were very positive and very, like, I guess, motivating, you know what I mean, to continue doing what I'm doing, because they were the people I looked up to, and now they're talking to me like, hey, you know, what's your next move? Or, you know, can we work more or do this and that? And, you know, it's crazy how it all turned out, you know. But I ended up, like, when I reflect on it, I feel like I was doing too much too soon, you know, and I had to put the shit on pause and realize exactly what the fuck I was doing and how I was doing it, and, you know, make sure that my foundation was solid, so, like, with the opposition with the trademark, like, so that wouldn't happen again, you know, because
career basis.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucked that, you know, I have to learn through experience, because nobody's teaching me this shit. You know,
there's no guidebook.
Yeah, there's no fucking which way to do it, you know, and everybody does it different, you know, and I could be doing it a way that hasn't been done before, you know, or I don't know, like, I'm just doing it though, you know what I mean?
You're not
trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? And like, I'm pretty sure the way you're doing it, downs, you know, you're trying to figure it out. Like, we've never done this shit before.
The path to success is in a straight line. You know?
Yeah, and then the best teacher is experience, you know, and learning hands-on, like we were talking about earlier, mindful learning, you know. But yeah, man, it's tough to come from nothing too, you know what I mean, and try to start without having somebody to mentor you through it, you know, because I'm pretty sure if Joe Rogan mentored you through what you're doing, you'd probably be farther along, right? Well, we don't have that, you know what I mean? So we gotta start from scratch and figure it out.
Make mistakes and learn that way.
Make mistakes, yeah. And like the whole thing is not quitting, not giving up, because once you do that, then all your work went to shit. Yeah. And it was, why'd you even start in the first place, you know? And that's where I don't want to, at the end of the day, regret and be like, damn, what if I would have just kept on going? You know, a little
further.
Yeah. What if I would have just kept on pushing the envelope? You know what I mean? Or kept on pushing forward or trying to make something, you know? And like, that's what it is not giving up, you know? Just striving, and keep on knocking on the door until the motherfucker opens. You know?
Or knock it down.
Or knock it down, yeah. Or pick the lock, like Tupac said. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man, shit. But, yeah, so how about baseball, man? What's up with that fantasy baseball that you guys are doing, though? You guys still doing it?
Yeah, we have it's everybody skip ahead like 4 minutes because we always talk about this shit and people say, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It's dumb, but it's a way to keep connected, you know? Like, we all got older, everybody has a family, or everybody has fucking 2 jobs, you know? It's hard to keep in touch with all the homies. So fantasy baseball, you get stats, you get points for the stats that the players do.
Yeah, it's like analytics kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you get the homies together and you have a draft, and you're like, I want... You know, if you take Trout, you're not picking for like fucking, because you had the first pick, you're not picking till pick 36 or whatever. And so we're in a deep ass league. We've been going for like 10 years deep, and
so
there's
the
16 of us.
Pretty fucking.
It takes like 4 or 5 hours just to draft alone. And we have a bout, like a wrestling bout.
Yeah,
this shit is for reals. There's obviously the best part is the bragging rights. You know, like you heard me talking shit to Ozzy. Like that's just a regular season game, and it's just. It's a good way to stay connected, you know. It sucks with some people, you know, they got families that they're like, dude, my kids are getting older. Yeah. I'm doing travel. Like, I got to quit. Like I said on that episode, for the respect out of the league, instead of just ghosting you fools, like, I'm going to quit and let you guys replace me with somebody that will pay attention. And, you know, there's been a few people, my younger brothers, like, bro, like, this is taking up too much time. I got 2 jobs. Like, this is probably my last season. Like, he just told me that this week. And I'm like, dude, like, you were like, he's 22. And he's been in the league since he was like 13, like 11, 12, 13. And I'm like, you can't quit.
Yeah, one time I did fantasy football, I think it was.
We have one too.
Yeah, but I was like, man, this shit ain't for me. I was just like, fuck that. I'd rather just fucking do a parlay and fucking gamble a couple games, you know what I mean? And
you could do both. See, that's the best.
Nah, but it takes up a lot of time too.
Does.
It is pretty time consuming, you know? And I mean, that's what I got from hearing you guys talk about it. Is like, damn, I'm glad I didn't get sucked.
Oh man, it's a beautiful rabbit hole to go into. Just because, I mean, it's great. We do it. I mean, the draft is every March, right? This year we did an online draft, so I don't like those because everybody's at the computer at the crib.
Yeah,
last year we went to Roy's house. In person, fucking
like Hooters or some shit like that. Yeah.
We used to do that at my other football league. We used to rent out the Dave & Buster's like conference room where they have meetings. And we just get fucked up. And this was before Uber, so we were paying for taxis like $100 from Alhambra or what is that? Arcadia to Monte. Yeah. But it was just like. It's fun, you know. It's only one time a year, so you go big. You get the big old draft board. I'm sure you've seen it in movies. Yeah. Like, that's how it is. It's just, it's bullshit. I tell you, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Izzy's gonna talk shit because I always like, dude, it's not a priority to me anymore. You know, like I like doing it because I keep in touch with the homies. You know, it's like a group chat in there.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
it's fun though too.
It's fun, yeah. It's a good way to like talk shit to each other.
Yeah, and you know it takes you away from your daily activities.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I mean?
a nice escape. I always call it an escape. Like it's just you get away for a little bit. You know, 15 minutes. Just
back with the homies. Yeah, you know? There's nothing like getting back with the boys. You know, and just fucking bullshitting. You know, talking that shit.
Yeah, I don't know how good your Spanish is. Yeah. And I don't really do emojis, but I send these. It's a 16-team league, so I send 15 bananas, right? And they're like, "What the fuck? Why are you sending bananas?" And I'm like, "Porque todos me la pelan." And I do that. Like that was original, and they were all like, even like, dude, that was fucking good. Like, you got us good. You got us good. And I'm like, I know. I planned that. Like,
I don't know much Spanish, but I know that.
That's funny. But no, baseball, dude. I remember you. You were good because we do that fucking, what is it, like softball?
Yeah.
It's not really softball because you're playing with like a teacher and a bunch of fucking girls. But
but at school when you would go play like, or even kickball too.
Yeah, that shit was, I mean, I remember you like, dude, I don't remember what grade we met, but I know like, you know, because I just did Fabian's, right? We're talking like everybody else.
Yeah, like
we met in Crans, and I'm like, oh, I met Fabian. Oh, Joel.
Well,
like, oh shit, Robert Ramirez. Yeah, so I was like, oh shit, he's next week. Like that's dope. Like,
yeah, Almani Eastern. Yeah, that's. I mean, my love for baseball. It was always on our block. You know, I was always playing with the older guys on the block, and we would always play like over the line, or we would play regular baseball. Like in the front of the house is like a diamond. I don't know if you've been there.
I know where you live. Yeah,
it's kind of like a diamond. So we would put first, second, third, and then we were at the corner. So the house right in front of us was left field. Right across from us on the opposite corner was center field, and then Jonah. I don't even remember Jonah
Hernandez.
Yeah. He that was his house in right field, you know, and we would be like car, you know, coming through. And we would play over the line. We would play home run derby. We would play home run derby was over the wires.
Okay.
Over the first wires.
Yeah.
Over the first set of wires, that was a regular home run. That was 1 point. Over the top wires, that was a grand slam. That was 4 points. And we played that, dog, and for years, you know. And so our hand-eye coordination was on point. You know what I mean? And I always said, and I've been to this day, you know, anybody that plays baseball, you know, see the ball, hit the ball, you know, and that's what I live by, you know. And me and Ernie, we used to. It was funny. I think we were in the Mariners, we're in the majors, and I think little Ernie,
Ernie Salinas.
yeah, because my homie
Ernie Rodriguez.
Yeah, Ernie Rodriguez.
My homie Ernie Salinas.
Yeah,
they both are homies.
No, but we were all on the same team, and Ernie Rodriguez would call Ernie Salinas fake Ernie, or we would call him Ruben, you know, and. It was funny because me and Ernie would always, we were practicing at Crans at the time, and we were practicing at Crans, and we would walk to Crans, and you know that little liquor store right there at the corner? Yeah, at the corner.
Like by Morehouse?
Yeah, me and Ernie.
Whatever that street was.
Yeah, well, was it Bunker? No, not Bunker. Burkett. Yeah.
Find you in Burkett.
And we would go right there before practice. We get hot Cheetos, munchies, like... And we would get hot Cheetos, Gatorade, like chips, all kinds of shit, you know. And we'll go to practice, and we'll be the first ones there, you know. We'll be munching, you know. Everybody starts showing up, like, damn, you guys are always early. And you guys are always eating food. And you guys are the best players on the team. And are you guys smoking? Like, are you guys getting high? And then my coach, it was like 6th grade, I think. No, yeah, it was before I got middle school, 5th and 6th grade. I was on the Mariners. And and we would go, and we would be eating right there, and then we would go start practicing, you know, and like, damn, these fools eat whatever the fuck they want, and then they come out here and they practice, and then they go to the games and they fucking tear shit up, you know what I mean? And it was cool, man. Those are the fun days. I used to go to sleep in my fucking uniform. That's how much I used to love baseball. I used to go after my games and even watch the baseball games, Dodgers, and study how professionals did it. And I always remember I was one of the first catchers that was actually like moving around in the catcher's the little catcher's box, you know, and like positioning my hand in different positions, and I was throwing people out all the time, you know, and yeah, man, it was crazy. And then when I took a year off. When I got 7th grade, I played football. I didn't play baseball, but then 8th grade I played baseball at New Temple. And then and you know, a year off took a toll on me. I was like, damn, because then everybody's progressing. And that next level was like leading off and shit like that, you know, picking people off. And yeah, so I did that 8th grade year, and then 9th grade, since I wasn't able to play, I played 9th grade too at the park. And yeah, man, it was something that I always loved, and you know what, I fucked it off. I didn't make grades. You know, Parcell told me, like, we went into tryouts, and the next day he called me. He's like, hey, I want to put you on the JV team, but your grades are down. You got to pick them up this next quarter. If you don't, then I can't have you on the team. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna allow you back on the field until you get your grades up. That's what he was big on.
Yeah.
And I remember Wilson at the time was the coach of the freshman team, and I had chopped it up. I had a good relationship with Wilson. And I told him, I'm trying to make my grades right now. And I remember I went to one of your guys' games, I think, and I was playing catch with Ozzy. And Ozzy, we were walking down to the field, and Ozzy was, like, putting his hand up in the air, and I was just throwing a hidden glove every time, on point, And Ozzy wanted me on the team, Shout out Ozzy. He was trying to get me, like, hey, Rob, you got to get on the team. You know what I mean? Because he played with me on the Mariners, too. He was on the Mariners with me and Ernie and the other Ernie. And yeah, man, it was something that I regret, not playing baseball in my high school years. Because if I would play baseball, I would have tore it up, man. I know.
I'm sure you would have.
Yeah,
It's
like
I
Fabian,
get it.
Me and Fabian were always playing on Almani Eastern, and I wouldn't say we were rivals, but he was always on the opposite team, and he was a good player.
He was probably the best players on each team.
Yeah, him and his dad was his coach. And yeah, man, I always wanted to, beat that team, in particular, because same age, and yeah, like he was somebody that I looked up to though too as well, because he was a good baseball player, you know what I mean? And what you guys did in high school, I always kept tabs on that, you know what I mean?
We won league 3 out of 4 years, I think.
Yeah, that was dope. That's dope. That's an accomplishment, because like. It's funny about Almani is there's so many high schools in Almani, you know what I mean? It's like no other cities really like that, right? I mean, 4 is like Arroyo, right?
Arroyo,
Almani, and South Almani.
And then South Almani is like right there on the border.
And then Rosemead
Rosemead and Gabrielino. Yeah, it's like it's for the vicinity, it's like really close. And I don't know about now. I heard the baseball teams are shit. I don't know, I haven't been there in 10 years, but at the time, like, we had players getting drafted from each class, fucking Rosemead, Arroyo, South, Mark Robinson, I was...
Oh, yeah,
Mark
Robinson,
with him,
yeah.
And I remember he told me, like, dude, I'm still sure, he would tell me, like, you have a badass arm for your height.
Yeah.
And this guy
he came from,
Northview, I think? He came from somewhere else. He came from,
he was a switch hitter, too. Yeah. He was dope, man.
Center fielder, and...
Yeah, I think he got to
drafted by the Twins. Yeah, drafted by the Twins. And he got up to Double A. It's hell yeah. I mean, I practiced with this guy, he would tell me, like, hey,
I used to have
you're
him
doing
for
this wrong, do
Spanish.
this. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool as dude. And I remember we played a scrimmage game against them. Like, they had these badass studs, They had, like, scouts from Arizona, San Diego there. Mm-hmm. And Angel was our catcher. Angel Villegas, shout out to Angel.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he wasn't there, but I was, like, our third-string catcher. I was a starting center fielder, but I was like third string catcher, and I don't know where our catcher was, our second catcher, but so I was catching, and I don't remember where our pitcher was, but he threw a fastball, right, swing and a miss, and I just threw it second base. I didn't think nothing of it. Like, this was still second. Yeah, and nice meeting you.
Me too, though.
Yeah,
and I fucking just throw it to second base.
I'm good.
And this will get, and I get him, right?
Yeah.
And we were both like practice. He's the starter, obviously. I'm just like a fucking JV at the time. Like, I'm his backup. And he's like, dude, nobody throws me out. Like, you got a pretty good arm. Yeah. I always, like, it's practice. I'm sure you probably wasn't going that hard. Yeah. And I told him, like, dude, you're way faster than that. He's like, bro, I was going. Yeah. Like, I was going. Like, I don't get thrown out. Yeah. Not in practice. He's one of those guys like I don't get thrown out in practice. I don't. And he goes, fuck, dude, like, what? Let me see that arm. And so we were the same thing, like you and Ozzy. Yeah. So we're out there playing like pitcher catcher, like 60 feet away in center field. And he's like, not that many people throw as hard as you. And he goes, that's why they have you in center field. And I'm like, I could throw pretty far, dude. Like, once you start getting that little confidence, I'm like, I could throw pretty far. He goes, how far can he throw? Like, we were in center field, right? Like deep center. Yeah. I'm like, I can make home plate on no bounce. And then he's like, nah. Like, after practice, let's play long toss. Like,
long toss, yeah.
And I'm like, sure. And dude, this guy is getting drafted, right?
Yeah.
And we're playing fucking long toss and like none of this rainbow shit, just like line drives to each other. And he's like, "What do you do?
Yeah.
Like, how is your arm this good?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "It
And
sounds
he's
stupid."
probably shorter though. Too.
I was like 5'4", 5'5".
Compared to him, right?
He was like 6'2", 220.
Yeah.
And he's
fucking major league ready.
That's being drafted like 3 months later. And then I was like, dude, I remember this drill where we just had to like, you just back up 10 feet each time, like back up 10 feet.
Oh yeah.
And you throw as far as hard as you can for as long as you can.
Yeah.
And once you get tired, you go back 10 feet further. And I remember people like giving up. I'd be like, dude, you're not gonna break your arm. Dude, just throw a little bit. See?
The ball,
And then so I do it, and I go further back, and I was like, and then we did like this drill where we would throw fly balls, like see how high you could throw it up. And he really liked that one. He goes, how does that make sense to you? And I'm like, I don't know. Somewhere, sometime in my life, some coach told me to do that. And you know, you're an outfielder, so you throw fly balls to yourself and throw them as high as you can, as far as you can, so you can get to it.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I have like fucking a private coach, a private trainer, and nobody's ever done this. I'm like, I don't know, it probably doesn't work. And he goes, it's working, man. Like, you have that good of an arm.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like,
he's tripping you out.
I'm tripping him out. And after practice, right, a couple people had left, but a few of the homies were like, hey, what the fuck? Like, you're playing catch with Mark?
Yeah.
Like, we were little sophomores. He's a senior, fucking stud.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know. He wanted to play catch. Like, he saw my arm. I threw him out at second, and everybody was like, I can't believe you threw that for wow. Like, I was like,
fast.
He's fast. And I was like, me neither, dude. I just threw it just because he's running. You know, you're a catcher. It's a reflex.
Yeah.
And so, like, 2 days later, they're like, hey, like, what was that drill you were talking about, like, with center field? And I was like, which one? They're like, you were throwing fly balls to yourself? And I'm like, oh, yeah, like, just throw as high as you can.
Yeah.
But somewhere where you think you might get it, right? You're not throwing, like, fucking from right field to left field. Like, you're aiming it toward, like, center.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to catch that ball. So as soon as you throw it, you start running.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, fuck it, let's try it. And then they were trying it. Everybody was trying it, right? And I already knew what I was doing, right? So I would, like, just sprint as fast as I could.
Yeah.
And then turn and look. And these guys are, like, amazed at how far they're all, you know, it's varsity. They can all throw pretty far, so they're all throwing fucking far and looking like, oh shit, that goes really, you know, you're taught to learn to throw a line drive.
But
so when you're doing this rainbow thing, you're like, oh fuck, I could throw really high up.
And but so you're training that way.
By the time they start running, they're like 3-4 steps behind, and so like I was getting to it, and I knew how far I should throw to get it. You know, it's not that I was fast either. I just knew like if I throw that far,
you could do
I could throw that far, and I'll get to it. And these dudes were throwing fucking missiles and thinking they're gonna get to it, and so they're like, dude, you're pretty good. And I was like, I'm not that good. And I always tell people, dude, but to this day I'll tell you, I was slightly above average, you know, like I was good enough to start, good enough to play, but I wasn't like
because I don't remember you really playing too much when I was in,
I was poor. I didn't start playing organized base. I played with like homies.
I was, you know, my grandparents really, you know, make sure that I played, you know. I guess because they seen me playing all the time in the front yard, you know, in their front yard, you know, and I was playing with the older guys and they were throwing harder, you know what I mean? And I was always in the backyard, like, just throwing up. They have a brick wall back
That's
there.
what I used to do.
I just hit one square, you know, work on my accuracy, you know?
Same.
And then also get the ground ball coming back.
I was gonna say, and
like,
I was at first I was an infielder. And then they told me I didn't have the arm for it. And, you know, I was going to bring it up in Ozzy's episode, but I'm not sure which part, but I forgot about it. But I was a second baseman because I didn't have an arm. And then when we got to high school, you know, I was always the second baseman just because of my height and everything. You know, you're not too big. You can't play short. You don't have the range for it. So I was like, all right. Yeah. And so then when I couldn't be second base, because I think Ozzy and Ernie, my Ernie, little Ernie, well, now big Ernie too. Shout out to fucking both you guys. They were second base, right? So like, oh fuck, so I'm gonna be like third string second baseman. Because I knew they were better than me. And so then they're like, oh, you're a pretty good outfielder though. And I remember being like, like, the shitty kids go to the outfield. I don't want to play outfield. And I remember my coach was like, dude, this isn't Little League. Like these kids sit it out here. Like, and remember, there's nobody behind you. Like, if the ball gets past you, like, there's no backup, you know. If the ball gets past the shortstop, you're there to help him. If the ball gets past you, like, that's an inside the park home run. And so I remember he gave me the confidence. You know, one of the guys Ozzy talked about,
it's
Isaac.
important, man. It's important. Like every position on the field is important.
Even right field.
Yeah.
Even
like,
I was like, don't put me in right field.
Yeah,
don't put me in
like
right field.
like when you're little, I guess they want to throw the kids that don't know too much in outfield, right? But when you're older, you understand
how important
it is. To
shout out to my homie Roy. Roy was one of the best right fielders I've ever seen. He was a lefty and everything.
And you know,
Roy, he got down.
Roy
like
played with us too. Yeah.
Sophomore year, I don't think he wanted to quit, but I know he was down because me and the homie Mexico that me and Fabian talk about, like we were fighting for center. Yeah. And then, you know, we would switch off. Like one game he was center, then I was left. And then once I was left, I was like, dude, Mexico's a little faster than me. I told Wilson, like, he's faster than me. I'm not telling you he's going to beat me in this position, but if we're just switching off, I'd rather be in left field because that's my position. You know, I know where I had to play with the hitters.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I remember Roy was like, dude, I'm in right field. Nobody hits it this way. And then we played a Royal. And they had like 6 lefties, bro. Shit. And they hit like 10 balls. You don't get that many balls in the outfield. And they hit like 10 fly balls. No, he was fucking ready. He was ready, like all fly balls. And he was catching everything, throwing out people at first. Like, you know, that's fucking big.
It was his time.
It was his time to shine, and he was ready, bro.
Yeah,
and I remember telling him, like, bro, like, I can't do that shit. Like, I'm a righty. Like, I can't. I don't have that fucking natural catch it with my glove hand. And already, like, the people that play baseball. If you're fucking a right-handed thrower, you're coming in, you got to go across your body to throw. A lefty, you're catching it, and as you're moving forward, crow hopping, you're fucking coming already with the throw. And I told Roy, like, dude, I can't make those plays. And me and Roy are close, right? I'm probably gonna have him on like in the next few weeks.
I hope you do, man.
And I remember telling him,
that guy in a minute,
and he was like, I'm pretty good, huh? And I'm like, dude, you're fucking badass. Like, and I told him what the coach.
He didn't have that confidence.
What I told him sophomore year, what my coach told me the freshman year, like, this isn't Little League. Like, the ball's gonna find you. Like, the ball will find you, and it's just a trip because, like, now, a few people have told me, like, hey, dude, next year I'm getting a team. I heard you talking about like outfield drills. I'm there. Do you want to coach? I'm like, right now I can't. So I don't want to say because I don't know where my life will be in fucking 6-7 months. I'm like, let me try to take everything I can in my life so that I have those afternoons off. Because I would love to be out there. I'm not the main coach, right? Like my hitting is not all that great. I can hit, but not very well. So if I can help you out, I will. So it's pretty cool, you know. Like, I'm not gonna play anymore. But if I could go out there and teach this kid some of the things that made me fucking not good, but a starter, like a player, like part of the team, I'd love to do that. You know, pay it forward. I had great coaches, so I might be a great assistant coach to some of these kids. So I'm like, fuck yeah. But I don't want to say yes and then back out. So I'm like, let's leave it out there and hopefully we can. But that'd be, dude. That's what I was telling you. You know, you said you left it. I remember you being fucking bad. Maybe coaching could be something you could do.
No, well, actually, I did coach a little bit as an assistant coach, so I never took a full-time head coaching job because that shit's a lot of work, man.
Shout out to all the coaches, man.
Especially the coaches I had growing up. Like, the fools believed in me so much. More than I probably even believed in myself. Like, even to this day, I have my friend that I grew up with. And he's like, man, you were badass. Like, I thought you were going to go far. Like, I used to pitch to you, and I used to throw hard. And he pitched varsity at Mountain View, and that's how I knew about Mark Robinson, because Mark Robinson played on his... Huh? No, Mark Jacobo.
Okay.
He's who I grew up with, but he was a very good pitcher. He was pitching there before we got to high school.
Okay. I was trying to remember.
No. He played with Kiki. I don't know if you know Kike Hernandez. He played short. All these guys were there prior to
I think
us going to high school.
Was he the third baseman?
Shortstop.
Was he Victor's brother? Do you have a younger brother named Victor?
He had a younger... I don't think Victor. I think... I forgot what his younger brother name was. But right now he's into craft beer right now.
Okay.
I forgot what his name is. But... And Noe, I don't know if you ever remember Noe. Yeah.
I think they were like the younger ones when I got there.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, when I got there, dude, they were fucking stacked.
Yeah, no, they won CIF I think that year. They got close.
They got close.
Yeah, too many CIF. And... yeah, I mean, and Mark Robinson, that's how I found out about Mark Robinson. He was yeah, I mean, everybody talked about him. Well, he was probably the only black guy in school at the time. You know what I mean? But he was very athletic. You know, and he fucking could run those bases. He was their leadoff hitter. You know what I mean? And
he pitched.
Yeah,
he fucking was switch hitter.
Yeah, center
fielder.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know, when I went to I think it was my last year of majors in Amani Eastern is when I liked playing center field. Like, I loved it. Like, I never wanted to play the outfield ever. I was always like pitcher, catcher, second base, shortstop. But then I got to doing fucking center field, and I liked it, dog. And I backed up the left and right field because they weren't too good. Like I said. Yeah, man? All right. All right, man. I'll catch you later. And fuck, I lost my train of thought.
You were playing center field?
Yeah, I was playing center field. Oh, and then like they would call me in and they would want me to play catcher. And I was like, nah, I don't want to play catcher no more. You know what I mean? Like, nah, we need you to play catcher because you know how to stop the balls and, you know, you're not afraid to stop them. Like, there's people that were looking away, you know, like the ball bouncing.
When they swing, people close their eyes.
Like, things like that. And then you knew how to move around and maneuver back there. But I was like, nah, but that's a lot of work. You know what I mean?
In a game, the only positions I never played were shortstop. No, I did play short. Pitcher and first base. I played right, center, left, second, short, third. And I caught a couple games, but I never pitched. I tried. I threw pretty hard, like for my height at the time. I wouldn't say the hardest thrower on the team, but I threw pretty hard. Like I just knew the mechanics, but I couldn't fucking. We had the stupid drill from outfield. We had a trash can at home plate. Like it didn't matter how you got it in there. Like it was on the side, right? Like horizontal.
Yeah.
Like facing you. If you're in left, it's facing you. If you're in center, it's facing you. And it didn't matter if you rolled it in there. You just had to get it in there, dude. I would line drive that motherfucker in there. From like fucking center field. But when I got to the pitcher's mound, I couldn't fucking throw a strike.
Why?
I don't know. Like, cause I remember, I think it was junior year. Yeah. They saw that I was throwing pretty hard, right? Like I was just fucking around with one of the pitchers, and they goes, "Throw your curveball." Like my curveball's not good. Like you fuck around. Like you're not a pitcher. You're like, "This is my curveball," and I was just kind of throwing a little bit of a very slight curveball. Yeah. And then I remember somebody passed by. Is like, dude, this curveball sucks. He can't pitch. And they're like, it's not about the curveball. It's he sets him up with the fastball. Like, throw your fastball. And so we were on flat ground, right? We weren't on the mound. I was just throwing fucking like zing, zing, and like, oh shit, he throws pretty hard. And so they're like, get on the mound. Let's see what you can do. Trash, bro. Trash. Like I got like 10 pitches and not one of them was for strike. I mean, maybe if they fine-tuned me and said, hey, try this and do that, but just I could not get that accuracy from that close range.
It just wasn't happening.
It was like darts, you know, like it takes practice. And I never practiced pitching ever in my life.
Yeah. And no, but that's the thing is that like okay, so I remember one of the last times I pitched, I was already, you know, I think it was 9th grade. And I never told the coach I knew how to pitch. And he's like, hey, you know, we need pitchers, you know. They're telling me that you know how to pitch. And I was like, yeah, you know, I pitched a couple times, you know, in my life. And I've always, I've liked the art of pitching.
I love the art of pitching.
It's the art.
Greg Maddux.
It's,
I like.
No, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, fucking Randy Johnson, fucking Roger Clemens.
Kershaw. I sit down and watch Kershaw pitch. People tell me, you're not even a Dodger fan. I'm like, dude, I bring the story up.
Rich Honeycutt, best pitching coach in the world. He's been there for the last probably 12 years, probably.
Probably longer.
Yeah.
Probably longer.
Yeah, he's been there.
But I mean, pitching is an art form.
Oh, yeah.
Most and when, definitely. Like right now, Scherzer, fucking, I'll say I was struggling or whatever.
Yeah.
But like when these guys are on their game, DeGrom last year. Oh man, I love. I traded him in my fantasy league, and it hurt me. No, I'm not competing. I'm not competing for a title. Yeah. You feel me? Like the Thunder right now, they just traded Westbrook. You're not competing, so you gotta get assets. You gotta do what's best for next year. If you're not gonna win this year, there's no point in being a fucking 6-7 seed.
Yeah.
Well, not even. There's like 16 seeds. No point in being like a 12 seed.
Yeah.
You might as well fucking rebuild and be strong next year. So I had to trade Verlander, dude, and I was like,
I'm never gonna have this guy again.
Yeah.
Like I really had to come to terms with that. Like I'm never gonna have this guy on my team, dude. I love fucking watching him pitch.
Yeah.
Like Kershaw, dude. I'm never gonna have him on my team. We do a contract league. It's like for those listening, like a keeper league. Like you have these guys for some time, so nobody's gonna want to give them up. You get me? So I've never had Kershaw in that league. Well, the first year I had Kershaw, right? And never had him again. And it's like, dude. Like, you have Trout. The guy that just got Trout, my homie Eric, just got, shout out to Eric. The guy that just got Trout, like, he has him for the next 5 years. You think he's going to want to trade him? Fucking best player, like, in the last 40 years?
Come on, yeah.
And so, I mean, that's what I mean. That's fantasy, though, right? That's fantasy baseball for you. And just, where was I going with this? Kershaw. 2000, I don't know, maybe like 9 or 10.
Strikeouts like crazy.
He was going like 8-8.
Yeah.
5 innings, fucking like 7 strikeouts, but like 6 walks. And I was like, I would, you know, on Facebook, I'd be like, yo, you guys are missing out. Like, this kid is the next thing. Like, he's just fine. He's great. He'd come in and throw 13 strikeouts.
Well, what he was doing in high school, he was fucking throwing like 20 strikeouts fucking game.
I'm like, he's fine-tuning his skills. Like, you guys aren't competing. Like, this guy's going to carry you to the promised land.
He was gaining his confidence in the majors. You know, and that's big because a lot of, like even Greinke. I seen Greinke when he was in KC, and I was like, oh, this fool's gonna be badass. The fool has the stuff, you know. Greinke was. I always wanted Greinke on Dodgers.
Well, he came, or
he stood there for
2 or 3 years. Yeah,
and I think that's where the Dodgers fucked up that year that they lost. Is he was
their ace?
Yeah, and he
threw him number 2.
Game 1.
Yeah, and then they ended up doing that with Ryu
and he had
next year. Yeah, and it's like you could have done that with Greinke the year before.
And Ryu was a newer guy, like you know, foreign, you know, and he wasn't fine tuned like he is now. He's tearing it up right now.
He just started the All-Star. I mean, and he is really good. Like people say, like he's not that good. Like, dude. Sometimes I'm a big analytics guy, right? Like, you got to look at the numbers, but you got to look at the way he has hitters off balance all game. Yeah. Nowadays,
and he has the pitches.
Most pitchers they don't even go by innings, you know. They used to go 6 innings or whatever. Yeah. Now they go 2 times through the lineup, and now they bring in their long reliever. Ryu has these guys on their toes all game
off
because
balance.
That's the word I was looking for. Off balance. And it's, like you said, it's artwork.
Yeah, it's art. Yeah.
Like my dad got me into pitching because my dad was a pitcher, like in Sunday League. So I'd go see him, and he'd just be like, he didn't throw hard. Yeah. He had a little curveball, right? But he goes, you just can't. You got to be unpredictable. Yeah. As soon as they know what's coming, they're gonna hit it because I'm not that good. So he would just throw like, you know, everybody says you got to throw that first pitch for a strike. My dad would be like, no, you don't. You get 4 balls. Yeah. You get 3 strikes. So I could give one away. So I'm gonna throw a stupid ass curveball just so that they think like this curveball's not gonna be that good. His curveball sucks. Yeah. So he throw like a first pitch curveball in the dirt, and they're like, all right, whatever. Now he throws something a little different, right? Yeah. And you just have him on the toes. I'm like, how does my dad know this? And these pros are still like, but then you see a pitcher like Ryu, and where they're like, you get 4 balls.
Yeah, and that hesitation move. Yeah. Like like Asians are the ones that started.
Yeah, Hideo Nomo.
And then Kershaw picked that up, and that's when he started dominating. You know why? Because it gives the batter something that they're not used to. You know what I mean? And the timing, the timing has to do a lot with it. But you know, something that I was big on too was like they give you a pitcher's plate, you know, right there. Yeah. And my big thing was throwing different angles on that plate. Like, move around on that plate. Don't just settle down in one spot.
In the middle,
Yeah, it's just, that plate's for you to maneuver on, you know.
Like a batter's box.
Yeah, so I would maneuver on that shit, you know, and I would throw different angles, you know, different pitches, you know, and it would have people off balance, you know what I mean? And they don't see that, you know, at that age, you know. Yeah. You know, they're like, what the fuck is this doing? You know what I mean? And it's completely alien to them, you know what I mean? And when they see something that they're not accustomed to, you know, it throws their game off, you know what I mean? And they have to adjust at that point. And, you know, only the strong survive, you know what I mean? And your hand-eye coordination has to be on point to be a good fucking hitter, you know? And I, like, I was going back to, I ended up coaching my godson. Him and his team, they were like a AAA. And at that age, it's kind of like they're barely getting to learn real baseball.
Yeah. I
You
would
know
say
what
the
I mean?
basics, but like
Yeah,
the fundamentals.
Fundamentals. Yeah. And I always keep it simple with them because they're little kids.
They're having
and
fun.
it's just like, hey,
Yeah.
just see the ball, hit the ball, just put the ball in play. That's all you got to do. Swing the bat. Like, you're gonna miss a couple times. I used to miss a couple times, but eventually you're gonna hit it. You're gonna get a hold of it, and you're gonna reach base, and you're gonna be happy. You know what I mean? And I always remember a story of my friend Timmy. Shout out to Tim. He lived on the block too, but he was never get on base, man. And finally, he hit the ball and got on base, and he celebrated on first base.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and that's beautiful, to see that.
That's why you play.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I got joy off of seeing him have joy.
I'm sure the rest of the team did too.
Yeah,
the coaches were
yeah.
all your hard
you
work.
You got the game ball that day,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Your hard work pays off.
That's the beautiful part of baseball, man. But yeah, man, we're going to have to
I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
All right, any shout-outs you want to do? Anybody? Your page, I don't know if it's
just
like...
shout out to everybody, out there that's, working hard to provide for their families. I know times get hard, I know it's a struggle at times, and you just got to keep pushing, man, and, eventually things will get better and go in the way you would like, All of us, we live, we live in a way where we would like things. Everybody wants things to be better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we all know that things could be better, but we just got to continue to push for that, and eventually we'll break through. It's just a matter of timing and work and not quitting. You know what I mean? And, shout out to everybody that's done the podcast with you. Shout out to you.
I appreciate you.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate you as well, my boy. And, I didn't get to talk about a lot of stuff, but
I'll cut you off real quick. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to bring you back. You feel me?
Yeah. And you know what? I was thinking, like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to get it all out there, but I'm going to be able to do a lot from now till the next time we see each other.
The growth, that's what
and,
I'm talking about.
And that's what we'll talk about, you know what I mean? And we'll talk about a couple of things that I wasn't able to talk about, I kind of like being a little philosophical when it comes to things, and I just want to let everybody know, what we talked about earlier, a book called The Four Agreements. It's be impeccable with your word. There's one agreement. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions.
Hold on, let me see. Is the fourth one
always do your best?
Okay.
Yeah, always do your
I
best.
think I saw it as a meme on like Instagram or something. Like the four agreements.
No, but if you actually get a chance, you should read that book.
What was the name? You said
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah, and it comes from a lot of our heritage, for again our history, as Mexicans, Latinos, Hispanics, that's where the roots lie, in deep down in Mexico, and they were smart people, and they knew what they were talking about, and they looked up at the stars, what I mean?
There was no smog, no pollution.
Yeah, everything was all organic over there,
Real organic.
Yeah.
We
were real vegans right there, but they also, were carnivores probably too, but at the same time, they knew what they were talking about.
We said we were going to do an hour, and we did an hour 45.
Oh, wow.
I know. You got to wrap it up.
It was the beer. It was
It's not a self-help podcast.
Yeah.
But something for the listeners. Words of wisdom. On anything. Could be anything. Doesn't matter. Your choice.
Words of wisdom. Never give up.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, never give up, man. And when you never give up, you'll never regret. You know what I mean? Because only those who have given up are the ones who have regretted.
Say it again, and we'll wrap it up with that. Just because you, that was nice.
Yeah, never give up, man. Always.
Robert, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the spot.
This was fucking awesome.
Can't wait to do it again, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Hopefully, we have more time and and we're not as tired as we both are.
Dude,
We're both fresh off of work.
I had court today.
Oh yeah, wow! I hope that went well.
Yeah, it did actually. It did.
That's good, man. Well,
So,
God bless.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. You can find the podcast on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by looking up the Cool Kids Table Podcast, and on Twitter by looking up the Cool Kids Pod. The official website is the coolkidstablepodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.